Here's barbecue in pieces, just using Vallejo black, 50/50 solution, distilled water, and just black primer. I got a boom stand coming because I noticed in all my videos, and when I'm doing these videos, I really like doing the tutorials or follow-alongs. Not so much a tutorial, a follow-along to what I'm doing and how I got to where I was going to go and how I got there. If anybody's interested in always watching the videos, I noticed they don't do too bad, but I did notice that when I'm doing these, sometimes I get out of frame and my hand's in the way, really bad angles with the camera. So I just ordered a camera boom. So the next one should be a lot better. I'm just going to have above angle looking down, just to make everything a little more easier, a little more better for everybody to see. But outside of that, I appreciate you watching the channel. I'm going to pop in and out. And then, like I said, thanks for watching. Now that everything's primered and it's set for a day or so, I got some steel gray from Folk Art. I really like Folk Art. It's kind of thick, but it seems, I don't know, I just like it. I like how thick it is. You can always water it down, but it also it just sticks well to anything. But anyway, I'm here. Here it is, my first attempt or second attempt to dry brushing. Then when you get into that little bit, not all the time, but going in here and just going to hit it very lightly, as you can see across, just hitting the high parts of the sculpt, trying to get in there, trying to leave some dark. I still have a problem keeping some of the dark areas staying dark because I think I pushed down too hard. But anyway, here's where I assembled the whole figure except the head, because I didn't want to dry brush it and have my shadows being completely off. That's the first mistake I did before I got too far, which is not too bad. But anyway, right here is just going and going until you get the desired look that you're looking for the highlights. So I believe this is Santa Red. It's kind of a little bit darker red. I want to put it down a darker, of course, a darker version of red first, and then go from there. I didn't know how bright I wanted this to be. When I got it on there, I was kind of like, okay, I think I screwed this all up, to be honest with you, at this point, because it just doesn't look. It was like that is really, that decored paint or whatever is not as thick as the Folk Art, in my opinion. But at the same time, you have to put light coat after light coat after light coat. So right now, it's looking like, okay, this is just going to be a traffic jam and a bad accident. But as I kept going, it was getting better. It was getting better. But right now, that color is not the desired color I was looking for. But it's also wet. So if you're going to do something like this, go a little darker anyway. I'm guessing, you know. Not that I know everything. I'm just saying I'm learning right along with you guys, whoever's checking this out or whatever. And if anybody's got any pointers for me, man, put them in the comments, because like I said, it's the second attempt of dry brushing. to make it look like a realistic type of thing. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm not right now. I'm thinking to myself as I'm looking at this, and when I was doing it, that okay, this is not going to turn out too well. So after I got done doing the Santa Red, with the being a black base, maybe I should, to get the shadows, I didn't know how else to do it. I'll be honest, I don't know. This is my second attempt of dry brushing, not airbrushing. So I'm happy with it, but at the same time, I think my shadows could be a little better on the legs and everything. I wasn't trying to cover that much on the figure. Here's where I started experimenting, where I wanted a much brighter red. I wanted him a fire engine red. This is true red. I thought this was going to work. So after I put it in there, I wanted it lighter because I knew it'd be darker on the figure. So I added some white. When I added some white, wasn't happy with that. I looked at it, thinking, okay, now it looks like taffy. You'll see it here on the palette here in a minute. That just looked like taffy red to me. So I added some more red from Createx, opaque, just straight red, to try to darken it up. Still not happy. So I said, you know what? I'm going straight Createx red. It's what it is. I didn't know. Sometimes you elaborate as you go in. Just keep going with it and just go with it. So the worst could happen. I could go to another coat of being a lighter red. I think I did 2 coats of this, but I was happy how it turned out. So the true red on top of the Createx standard opaque red seemed to work out pretty well for me. Now here's where he's starting to look where I need him to look, in my opinion. I really like the way he's looking now. Especially this is wet. When he dries up, he may darken up a little bit, but it's still where I need it to be. Now that it's dry in my hand, I'm getting some raw umber here. I love the raw umber color. It's just a great, crazy mixture of a brown, dark, whatever. Not just straight brown. More like a leather look. I didn't want to just make all his pouches and his pockets black. Just black on red, black on red, black on red. And me, sometimes it's hard to get away from getting out of that little box that I like to be in where I'm comfortable. And I said to myself, I'm just going with some raw umber. And like 2 or 3 coats after, it turned out pretty well. So now I'm pretty setting myself to where I can move on now. This is probably the next day, I'm pretty sure. Instead of going black, I got a licorice. It looks black, but it also has like a blue tint to it in a way. Sort of like my wrought iron I always go to. And to be honest with you, I got tired of using the same colors over and over again. How am I going to get any better if I don't switch up the colors that I use all the time? Not that this is really a drastic different change of color, just by maybe a little of here and there of a change, but at least it's a change. I'm trying to get out of the box that I'm in, trying to progress forward and try different things. Obviously, that's what you're supposed to do, but I seem to be stuck in my own little box. But don't be afraid to try different things, especially later on in this video when I show you how I had to strip some stuff back down to redo it again. Anyway, this is some licorice, filling it all in the gaps. At least on the armor, the chest plate. is getting ready to come along. I got the plates done as much as I wanted to get. The brown's done. It's looking pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I still have to go back in and do, after every build, I'm sure everybody else does the same thing. You have to go back in and do some touch-up and some cleanup. But right now, I'm pretty happy where it's at compared to where it was. This is kind of actually what I was looking for. Not exactly, but I'm getting close to it. So now I'm going to do the tedious part, and this is sped up like as fast as I possibly could speed it up, and deciding what on the boot is going to be silver, what isn't, all the straps and all the other clips on here. So I don't know. I just picked it. This was kind of a pain. I think I probably a little overkill of trying to pick out every little detail, but it cleaned up well. So I'm here. I added a couple extra things that I didn't show you here. There's some extra buckles in there and some different things going down the boot that I didn't show you. But the video before this I've showed as a completion video, but it's not too bad. I added some things. This isn't it, and I didn't want to do both boots at the same time on camera because it would just bore the crap out of you. It bores the crap out of me. So here I'm going to go in with some more licorice, because I decided, well, what do I want all the plates dark or do I want them silver? I don't know. So far on the body, I'm happy where I'm going with it until disaster strikes here soon. Don't worry, it's coming. Here I'm just going in, touching some things up, getting my line straight, getting where the red meets the black, because I wasn't 100% sure exactly what colors I was going to make. The back of the elbows here, where the plate is on the elbow, hitting little details here and there, and decided to go with that color, which I'm glad I did, the licorice. Just keep it all black and red right now. In a minute here, I'll show you where I started to go, well, you know what? Instead of that, I'm going to make his forearm, or his gloves, his gloves there, forearms down to his hands, the gloves, the whole glove part. I said, well, you let me think. I'm going to put some silver, maybe brighten this thing up a little bit, maybe match his boots. So right here, I'm going in with some silver, just straight silver, from Model Air, which is a great silver. I love that silver. That's my go-to silver all the time. I decided to hit the top plate with silver, the plate on the back of the hand silver, and I think, oh yeah, and down by his fingers. I'll just let the video keep running so you can watch it, and you'll see what happened. So right here, this silver's kind of thick. I'm not experienced enough to make it look like, I don't know, maybe I could have used a wash to make it look better. Maybe I could have done several other things to make it look better. But right now, in my opinion, he's starting to look like a robot. He's starting to look like C-3PO in silver. I was happy with it. There's a lot of cleanup there, by the way. That's not the final product. That was just like throwing that on there and see what it looked like. Then smooth it out, you know, add some water to it or something. I don't know why I'm showing you the boots again, but about the hand here in a second. So it just wasn't, it didn't flow in my mind correctly from the whole body down to the gloves, from the gloves to the forearm down. And I try to go in and do some outlines like I did here on the outside of his vest, which I wanted to do and I kept. But on the gloves, I tried to hit some of the armor in red, some of it in black, and a big portion of it there in silver. The colors just ran together. I could not, it was, and to be honest, the sculpt on one arm wasn't good as the other glove. One glove wasn't good as the other glove when it came to the sculpt, and it kind of just bled. So, anyway, before we get to that, just give me a second here. I guarantee it's going to be coming. I'm going to tear these things off. So I'm going in here, I'm just cleaning things up. There's a line going to the back of his leg. I want some red just to separate the leg a little bit from the back. Just subtle, not a whole lot, not very bright, just subtle. You can see it here a little bit. I did go over it a couple more times, but sake of the video being too long, I did go over it a couple more times, as you can see here, with a brighter red. I'm happy with it. It's noticeable, but it's not noticeable. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to really stand out a whole lot, a stripe going down the middle of his leg. See there, it's kind of pinkish. Later I went back in and I went over it with red. So here I am. I'm getting me some of that silver I love so much, and I went a little bit too strong on the dry brushing, in my opinion. A little too strong. But it seemed to be okay because I did water it down some, and I hit a little bit of a wash on it. I wanted to look a little bit damaged. I don't want him completely look so perfect like his boots. I know his boots are bright. I left them bright, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe he went to Walmart and got new boots. But anyway. You can see the light on his chest. I think my timeline here got a little messed up, but with the light on the chest, as you can see right there, I'll show you in a minute that I went over with some white primer, then some very bright yellow, and then a little bit of orange, just to put that little light there on the front of his chest, as you can see. And like I said earlier, I got a boom coming. It's going to be a much better angle. And I did do some highlights on his knee pads here. After it dried, it kind of, you can see it, but you can't see it, which was kind of cool. And here I am going back in, just touching things up, cleaning things up. And right now I'm happy with it. Right now, except the hands again. I keep looking at the hands. I keep going further with the figure, tightening them up, straightening them up, going with the figure. Here I think I'm almost done to myself. Here, and it may look okay. It looked like a big mess from the top of the forearm down to the glove, from where the bicep meets the forearms. It's fine. Here I took it off. I completely took it off and stripped him down with some alcohol. I said, you know what? No. I almost threw it away. I'm not going to lie. I almost threw it away. I just went back in with some dark licorice, if I could speak, and just covered it all over again, went back in, and I used a gloss varnish and just hit different spots of the arm that I wanted to separate the black on black. Here's the hands that were soaking in alcohol. So I went, like I said, I know I'm rambling on and running my mouth here, but the black on black just felt right. It just looked right. But I also, like I said, the gloss. See how shiny that is? Just straight gloss finish. Just dry. It's just brush on gloss is all it is. And it kind of, I thought that would be the best thing to do. That's what I settled with, because I almost threw it away after all that work. But anyway, now that he's done and I'm happy with this, where it's at now, it's time to move on and let's get to the backpack and the axe. So this part right here, I have to give all the credit to my son. I'm using some silver Velato right there. That's what I'm going to do. You know me and silver, that silver. Can't stop using it. Like I said, I have to give my son all the credit for this one. I was back and forth what to do with this blue part of the container. So he said, you know what? I think that should be a new container. I think that should be the container that they swap in and out every time it goes empty. Or filter or whatever it may be. It should look new all the time. It should look like a container. And I said, you know what, man, you're right, because I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. I was just going to leave it blue, and it didn't make any sense. But luckily, he came down to see what I was doing. I said, what do you think? And he gave me the advice, and I went with it because it was really good advice. So, the Candyman on YouTube. Check his channel out. I'll leave a description below to his channel or into this video so you can see some of the stuff he does. He does some kind of a hard walkthroughs on gameplay. But thanks to him about the container. Anyway, we're moving around here. I'm going in with the same thing. Well, no, not the same thing. This is Createx just straight black opaque. I'm hitting all the plates. I wanted the backpack to be red, a dark red, just to accent a little bit the top of the figure, with the figure's chest plate being a dark color. So I went in and accented just a couple plates here and there. And the tube that's running around on it, I put some gold, you'll see here in a minute. But that was some FX paint that Kobe got me right here. Really good stuff. I like it. And went in, did some real subtle stuff on this right here. Real subtle on the backpack. I don't want the backpack to be really flashy, but I do like the silver dome. These little filter spots right here, I put in silver. I put some wash over it to tone it down a little bit. The last thing we got to do is get ready to paint this axe red. After priming it white, straight white, going in with some Createx bright red, just standard red, opaque. 3 or 4 coats. I think I wanted this thing to be solid red. Here I am with the handle. I want to kind of separate it a little bit. I see some notches on the handle, so I just follow the notches around, left the red underneath, just to break it up a little bit. Not sure if I'm going to put it on his hand or not, in his hands or not, barbecue's hands or not, but if I do, you won't see it anyway. But I decided to go with it and just leave all the details as much as I could. Maybe I'll change the way I put them on the shelf. I don't know. But anyway, outside of that, all I did is go in, hit the blade silver, added some rivets on the end of the blade, put some black on top of the axe where you can see some of the detail, the indentation of the detail, and then just left it like it was. Outside of that, that's about all. Anyway, I appreciate everybody that's watching. I appreciate if you made it to the end of this video because I know it's kind of long. I'm going to try to make them shorter. I don't know. But anyway, I appreciate all the extra views and everything I get on my follow-alongs. If it can help anybody out, that's great, you know. But also, if there's something that I need to know or something that could help me out, let me know. Anyway, like I said, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the support and you taking the time to watch this. I'll see you on the next one. Now here's barbecue.